The Rams look to bounce back after a tough one. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett here on the Mineral Wells Football Show, brought to you by Jack Palford, right here on L4 Media. As Mineral Wells went into Brock and got thumped 55-7. Best thing about that is you came out injury-free. Kind of got a measuring stick game, Coach Cody Worrell was very honest about how he thought that game was going to go and understands that it's not the Brocks of the world you have to beat. I mean, you want to get there one day, but right now it's still about getting that consistency of being a playoff program and making the playoffs and eventually going a couple rounds in the playoffs. Now, they'll bounce back this week, take on another tough one in the Graham Steers, who right now are tied with Brock for the district lead at 2-0. Of course, this is a Thursday night game now. Basically, every game in North Texas is a Thursday night game now. So it'll be interesting to see if the unscheduled, unplanned, shortened week will affect either team. I don't think it really will. As Coach says, by now on Wednesdays, you have most of your stuff implemented. And if you're playing on Friday, Thursday's a walkthrough day, usually, helmets and shorts. And they probably just did that yesterday instead of full-on practice. I want to thank our sponsor, Jack Palford. You can find him online at jackpalford.com. Get everything you want there at the website. Now, if you do want to go in person, by all means, you can. All you got to do is go to Mineral Wells on 1418 Southeast 1st Street. They're open Monday through Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., Saturday, 9 to 5, and then on Sundays, they are closed. But again, you can go to their website. You can see their whole inventory, all the catalog of vehicles they have from the new to the pre-owned. You can even see specials there, and then you can get financed on the website. So you know exactly what you're doing before you even go in to take that test drive. And we do thank them for being a sponsor here on the Mineral Wells Football Show. All right, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, it is the head coach of the Rams, Coach Cody Worrell, right here on L4 Media. Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. And you can see it all on our YouTube channel at L4 Media Company. Like and subscribe. Terry Bennett back here on the Mineral Wells Football Show. Now joined by the head coach of the Rams, Coach Cody Worrell. And Coach, 1-1 in district. You lost last week to Brock. Just a real quick one. There's not a lot to talk about, but what were your thoughts on the Brock game?
Yeah, no, I thought, obviously Brock's a very talented team, man. They very, very talented. We knew that going in. I challenged our kids at halftime. Not to give up and to keep fighting. That was what I challenged them to do in the second half, and that's exactly what they did. Took the opening drive of the second half, went down and scored, and got an interception on defense the next drive. And I was just proud of the way our kids fought, especially early on in that second half.
And we talked a little bit about last week, but I saw some pictures, the whole 10-year anniversary of the state championship team. That actually turned out to be really cool.
Oh yes, that was really neat. I didn't know if I was going to go over there. Coach Massey, the athletic director at Brock, and my dad. They asked me are you going to go over there, and but I ended up going, and I was so glad I did, man. I hadn't seen a lot of those kids in forever, and then the next night we got to have a 10-year anniversary dinner, and got to really spend a lot of times with those guys and see their little kids running around was super cool, and getting to know their wives, and some of them I had never met before. So most of them I had, but some of them I hadn't, and it was just really cool to get to see those guys again.
All right. Well, you're 1-1 in district. We move on now as you're going to be taking on Graham, a game that has been moved. First off, does that affect you in any way, or have y'all already basically have your game plan installed and everything?
Yeah, I mean, it affects you. I mean, you have your game plan installed, but it definitely messes up the timing of, you feel like you're in crunch mode trying to get everything perfected before the game. Especially, I mean, it's one thing to know that you're playing a Thursday night game, leading up to that weekend, and the whole week can kind of organize your practice plans more efficiently to cater to that. But after changing it on a Tuesday to, it kind of feels like you're cramming your game plan in, but I always tell our coaching staff, a bunch of teams around this whole area are doing the same thing, and Graham as well has got to do the same thing. So we just got to adjust and keep rolling.
Now, one thing for y'all is advantages y'all, and again, they were planned out, but y'all have played multiple Thursday night games this year, so at least your guys kind of know that internal Thursday clock for a game that night.
Yeah, no, that's what I told our guys. We played 2 Thursday games in a row, I believe week 3 and week 4 this year, and so our kids understand they've been on that schedule before, so that's kind of what I've told them yesterday afternoon when I got to meet with them, because we made that call after practice. We practice in the mornings. We made that call, around lunchtime, and then we brought them back after school, and they had obviously the word had gotten out throughout the school because emails were sent out and all that, but just kind of told them, yeah, we've been in here before, so we'll just get back on our Thursday game schedule.
I think you get the old men get off my lawn people complaining about this, and they're like, "Well, when we played, we would play in the rain." But I don't think people understand this isn't about the rain. This is about lightning delay, and you do not want to be in the second quarter of a game that could decide your playoffs and have to restart the game that Saturday at 2 p.m.
Oh well, no, you're exactly right. That's the biggest fear. Everyone wants to avoid playing on Saturday, and and I'm all, I told Coach McChristian I love to play when it's a monsoon and all that stuff because anything to help slow those guys down is a benefit for us. But no, man, I'm telling you, when you look at the big picture, playing a Saturday game, and especially with other people in our district moving theirs to Thursday. If they get their game in, we're playing on Saturday. That's 2 extra days of rest they get, going into the next week that we didn't get. And so there's a lot of pros and cons, and I understand what old timers say about that. I really do, and there's a lot to be said about that. But at the end of the day, we just want to make sure we get that game in an efficient mode, and you know, don't have to come back on Saturday is the biggest one.
All right, well, let's talk about Graham. What are your thoughts on the Steers when you see the film?
Yeah, they look like Graham steers. They are, they are, big, huge, and physical, and very well coached, and they do things really, really well, man. They really do, and everyone says that they're going to be down this year, and you can tell early on that they had some younger guys out there that hadn't played a whole lot of varsity football, or at least played a lot of snaps. But man, they figured it out here recently. They don't look like that anymore, and so they just look like a team that's ready and looking for a run for a district championship and a big playoff run. I mean, they're very, very talented.
And I think a lot of people kind of forget who they lost to. It's not like they lost to, a bad 4A team or a bad 3A team. I mean, they lose to Springtown, who's, ranked in the state, and they lose to a very offensive Decatur team who's bounced back. So, I mean, those are quality losses for them, just like y'all have quality losses.
No, yeah, those two losses they had were against two really, really, really good football teams. We scrimmaged Springtown this year, so we know firsthand how good those guys were and are. And man, I think that they have a shot to both teams really have a shot to them and Decatur both have a shot to compete in their region
Mm-hmm.
and play really long in their division and yeah, those are two very quality losses, and they've had some quality wins as well against Midland Christian and Whitesboro and Lake Worth and like I said, they look like Grand Steers.
What do you have to do offensively to have success?
We've got to be able to be patient.
Mm-hmm.
If we want success, we've got to be able to be patient and know that we're going to get some. They're going to stop us sometimes at the line of scrimmage, and then we just got to be patient and know that 3 yard runs or 3 yard plays are good plays for us. We want to get in manageable third down situations offensively. We want to be in third and 4 or less, and give us a shot to just keep the chains moving and keep the clock hot, and we just can't have negative plays, especially early on downs, first and second down negative plays. We're backed up behind the chains, and we're just like I said, we just got to keep pushing forward and get positive plays and know that we have to stay patient on offense.
You know, doing a multiple coaches shows with teams in your district and everything. One of the things that I've enjoyed when talking to them about you is your offense and what y'all do. Everything, every one of them says to a T, well, we're going to have to do extra practices because you never know what they're going to pull out. I think Billy Mathis said it best. They'll do double passes, double dribbles. They'll shoot the three. They do anything they can to move the ball. Do you like having that reputation that that's the guy that's going to pull out all the tricks?
Yeah, no, I it's definitely one of those things where we work them every week, and we work those kind of plays every week, just like everybody else does. But for me, if I'm making any coaches practice something unique, they're having to spend 5 to 10 minutes out of their day, out of their practice every week to go over. That's 5 or 10 minutes they're not going over, a regular offensive practice or defensive practice or regular special teams and that sort of stuff. So, I to answer your question, yes, I like that reputation. I really do. And our kids have fun with it. And, when we execute, especially when we can execute them well.
As always, I want to thank Coach Wall for joining us here on the Mineral Wells Football Show, brought to you by Jack Palford. And I mean, he laid it out there for you. And to be clear, when you look at the standings and where they at, and Mineral Wells right now is sitting at 1-1 with Graham, Eagle Mountain, and Burke Burnett left. Now, you've already beat Bridgeport, so you've got the tiebreaker over them. So basically, just to make the playoffs, you need to beat Burke Burnett. You can lose to Graham, you can lose to Eagle Mountain, beat Burke Burnett, you're in the playoffs. But as he has said multiple times, you want to make the playoffs and give yourself the best chance, the best path to go multiple rounds. You need to split with Graham or Eagle Mountain to get third. You beat both of them, you have second. And so it's all laid out for them. Yes, the district championship's out of their hands unless something happens. But everything else, second place, third place, or fourth place playoff spot is still in Mineral Wells' control. And as they get healthier, I think they're going to get better, and you're going to see that. And you saw that against Bridgeport. And yes, I know Brock happened, but Brock's on a different level. And everybody knows that. You talk to anybody in the district, and of course they're going to say the things like, oh, we hope we can get some turnovers and, make a couple plays happen. But at the end of the day, everybody understands Brock is head and shoulders, and then everybody else is fighting for second through fourth. And it's cool that Mineral Wells is actually in that fight and not just, oh, let's just hope we get that last spot. They legitimately have a chance for second or third. All right. Again, Thursday night game with the weather and everything. So if you're going to the stadium tonight, be safe, enjoy the game, enjoy all the football this weekend. And let's meet back here next week on the Jack Palford Mineral Wells Football Show.